All right, what is going on to the championship? Today we're going to decide with the last matchup in the Final Four. So today, what we have going up against the Napanee Dutch Kitchenet is Jack Cooper's wallet. So this will be on Facebook. There'll be a poll. You can vote in the poll. You can leave your comments. They'll count as a vote. And one of these is going to go on to the championship round to declare the winner of this tournament. So let's learn about them. And hopefully you've been learning throughout this entire bracket. First, let's talk about Jack Cooper's wallet. So Jack Cooper was enlisted in the Navy. His plane was shot down in the Pacific Ocean. He survived the plane crash and lived for 32 days on a life raft. And he used this wallet to inscribe a diary, which unfortunately was the last days of his life. So we wanted to pull to a specific diary selection here. So we'll open it up. And there's two names that we want to point out. So right at the top here, you have the name Mavis. And then kind of here in the middle, you have the name Nell. Now, what do those correspond to? Were those women that Jack Cooper knew? Was it someone his shipmates knew? No, actually for those who study World War II history, and if you read the descriptions, those names correspond with planes, Japanese planes. So each Japanese specific type of plane was given a code name in the US military, and that's how they could describe what had happened. So if you're reading this, what you're seeing is Jack Cooper relaying how two Japanese planes flew over this life raft. And one of them actually spotted the life raft and actually strafed it and ended up shooting Jack Cooper twice in the legs. And you can see there that he bandaged his legs and was able to live for a few more days. So that's what Mavis and Nell, a little bit of a World War II history lesson there for you. We get specifically from Jack Cooper. So going up against that is this Napanee Dutch Kitchenet. So this Dutch kitchenette we dated to be right about 1923 or earlier. And the way we dated that was this bread box. And actually this bread box, or where the flour would be to bake bread, actually shows us a way we can take a local artifact and really tell a national story. Because you see the size of this flour container would be used to make bread, and you can see how big it is. Imagine how much flour that would hold. Today, a bag of flour, imagine how long that lasts in your house. But back then, they needed lots of flour to bake bread, which was a pretty common thing that they would do in the kitchens. And the reason it's so big, it helps us date that, is because post-1923, as we get into the mid and latter part of the 1920s, bread and how it's consumed and how it's made becomes different, mostly because bread becomes more prevalent, the production of it's industrialized, and becomes widely available. So instead of making it at your house, you would buy it at the store. And by the end of the 1920s, roughly about 90% of the bread in the United States is bought at a store. So what we see as you move further on into the 1920s is the flour container gets smaller and smaller and smaller because you didn't need as much flour now to bake bread. So it's one specific clue that helps us date this, but it also shows us how one of our local artifacts made by a local manufacturer and industry can really tell a national story. So it's a pretty interesting part of our county's history. So another really great matchup. Who's going on? What's going on? What object's going to move on to the championship? Is one of these going to be the winner of the bracket? We'll see. That's up to you. So make sure you cast your votes, leave your comments, we'll tally the votes, and between one of these is moving on to the championship round. So until then, we'll see you again.